Hi again, everyone. In this part of my series on how to make PDFs accessible, I'd like to go over the sort of quick and easy way on how to make PDF forms accessible. Forms, you might actually see the document right in front of us here. It might not look 100% like a form, like where someplace you signed and date or initial, but because it's fillable, you can kind of have a user fill in certain boxes here, like a checklist. That also counts as a form for Adobe Acrobat PDFs, or for PDFs in general. Forms are just in general something that the user can sort of fill in. It can be anything from either signature or something as simple as a checklist like this. Either way, you can see that this is a relatively simple one-page PDF I have in front of us here that I just stole from the internet. So we're going to be trying to make this simple PDF form fillable so that someone who needs a screen reader can actually fill out this form pretty well on their own without having to have somebody, read it to them or having to depend on somebody telling them what's checked or what's not checked. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. So on the right hand side here, we're going to just immediately see there's an action called prepare form. If you don't see it there, again, check this this search box up here, prepare form. And you can see it just shows up right there. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to ask for a certain file to scan for forms. It's going to try to automatically detect certain places where there are forms and fill those in for us so we don't have to put a little checkbox at every single little dot here. And you can see, let me zoom in a little so you can see a little bit better. Next to each one of these little boxes where there originally was a little checkbox, Adobe has detected that and filled it in with its own checkbox. And you can see if I actually click out of here, these boxes are actually clickable now, and so I can fill or unfill these to my liking. So I can check off what I've done and what I still need to do, and which is pretty good for a fillable form that's 100% being able to be done through just Adobe Pro. So again, somebody with a screen reader wouldn't have to depend on having to print it out and having somebody have to read it to them. Great, so let's go back to the prepare form view because there are a couple of issues or just things I want to iron out real quick. First of all, you can see that not only did it make those checkboxes, it also put these large rectangles here, these large blue rectangles here. Now, I think what happened there is, I guess I'll have to back out of this view again. There was originally a dividing line here, like large line here, but Adobe sort of detected that as a fillable, like where you'd sign your signature, something like that, so I can actually type in here. That's not exactly what I want. That's, forms where you can type stuff, type in a text field are obviously very important, but that's not the point of this form. So I'm actually just going to have to delete those fields. So if I go back to my prepare form view, I'm actually just going to right click on each one of these text boxes and delete. And this is something that you might have to do when you have Adobe automatically read your form, because it might pick up on some little places where it thinks there should be a form, but there really shouldn't be. So I'm going to have to do that again for this box that I put. Luckily, it didn't put it on the third one, so we're good on that department. So yeah, now we've got just the form fields that we want, which are just the little checkboxes. Something interesting to note is that if you zoom in really closely and I mouse over one of these, you can actually see the words confetti streamer pop up as a little what's called a tooltip under my mouse. And that's signifying that this checkbox actually contains information about what is next to it. Adobe was smart enough to realize that this checkbox corresponded with this text item, this confetti streamers item, and same thing with this lights item under the decorations. And so when Adobe reads each one of these checkboxes, it'll know that, this is the confetti streamers checkbox, and I'll tell you if it's checked or not, which is really helpful for. In fact, why don't we just give a short demonstration? If I click on View and go to Read Out Loud, activate, and I'm going to have it. Actually, I'll just click on the box.
Music playlist checked.
And you can see that the music playlist is actually checked. So it told me that that form field is checked, which is really nice. That's exactly what we want to happen. Great. So all we have to do now is run through our normal process of auto tagging and auto making accessible this document. Once again, to do that, all I have to do is go down to my, I can go down to accessibility and then auto tag. And then it loaded there for a second. You might not have caught that. And I'll just click full check. And you can see that most of my issues are fine. These are just very easy to fix issues like primary language I can just fix immediately, which is just, I can set it to English. Title, that doesn't really matter. I can just set it to whatever I want. Those are very easy fixes. So yeah, now you can see that I have made this PDF form fillable basically online. So now it's much more accessible to somebody who needs a screen reader. So that's it. That's the quick and easy way to making a basic form accessible with Adobe Pro, Acrobat Pro.